All right, we are live for yet another video, another edition. Last time I guess that we left off, Coley was not hired. Del McGee was still the running backs coach for Georgia. Uh, that's all changed. Let's talk about that. Coley hiring, replacing BMAC, stolen away from South Carolina in the middle of the night. Um, what were your thoughts on the hire?
From a recruiting standpoint, I think that's where Kirby was looking at Coley and what his primary thing is going to be. Um, Obviously, connection to South Florida, known to be a really good recruiter, has coached wide receivers. I think he's fairly familiar with the Georgia staff. So I think
Yeah,
all those things are the positives of it. I guess the other positive I would say is he's not going to be calling plays, so we don't have to run
yeah,
the ball on first and second down and then try either a draw or a short pass on third down. And so we're not going to. Hopefully he's not going to be able to put his thumbprints or fingerprints on the offensive game plan too much. So I think it's fine. I think it goes to prove our point though that we said about Kirby a couple of different times. If you can't recruit, you're not going to coach at Georgia. And
no,
Coley is a good recruiter. So from that standpoint, I guess it's good. I'm not a huge fan of Coley's just because I thought the 2019 offense was probably one of the most predictive, uninspired offenses I've ever seen. But I guess he brings good energy to the program, to practices. Kids seem to like him. And he obviously can coach wide receivers, and I'm sure he's a smart enough guy. So for all those reasons, I don't think it's a terrible hire at all. I think it's probably a good hire, but I don't. Uh, I think Kirby could go out and get almost anybody he wanted at wide receivers coach, and it sort of seemed like this was to fill a gap. And Kirby said stuff about continuity before, and you kind of see some of the things Kirby said come to fruition with the hire with Coley.
yeah. I think just as a wide receiver coach, I think he's really good. I mean, think about Javion Williams, Lawrence Cager. Whenever Georgia needed a wide receiver, they went and got him from South Florida. Coley was a part of that. George Pickens, the last five-star wideout that Georgia got, Coley was the lead recruiter for him. Mecole Hardman, he wasn't the lead recruiter for him, but he coached him.
Yeah.
Riley Ridley, another one. I think probably had a better college career than he did pro. I don't even know if he's in the pros anymore.
Is he the one that got caught gambling, or was that his brother?
That's Calvin Ridley. This is brother
Okay.
that played for the Falcons. Um, so I think that it was a good hire. I think it was more of a familiarity hire. And like you said, I think that was a move to fill a gap. I think also it's so late in the off season that that's probably why he got the job at Georgia.
I would think continuity, right? And he knows a lot of members of the staff. It's not going to be he can fit right in probably to the culture fairly quickly. That Kirby's
Right.
not be a disruption. And right, like you say, right before spring, it's probably makes a lot of sense from that perspective.
100%. And then, you know, I wrote a blog about it. You'll see it on Dawn of the Dog. Check it out. Shane Beamer, I mean, what a crybaby. And then, I looked it up since I was writing about it. If you haven't seen his comment was basically, well, we have a player or a coach that left this late in the season. He was crying about that, or going into spring practice. We collected the $450,000, and to me, I think we got a better coach. Well, you know where that better coach was coaching before?
Only because I read your article at Dawn of the Dog, but Limestone College, I lived in upstate South Carolina. Got to be honest, was not familiar even living up there for a
Yeah.
while.
So Limestone University is a Division II school, and he got a better coach. Like if he was the better coach, you could have easily gotten him before he got Coley. So his comments are very strange. Beamer, he's a crybaby. He really, and I know Dean Legge said this. I'll give him credit for it, but he reminds me of Dabo in a lot of ways without the national championships.
Yeah.
And he fits right in with South Carolina, who they're indignant. They're kind of like an Auburn with no national championships again. It's everyone, it's them against the world, and they take victories and keeping it close. So, I guess good for Beamer. I'm glad he found the best wide receiver coach in the country in Limestone. I mean, what a nugget, what a steal. So good for him. It bothered me anyway.
Well, I know there have been rumors that the way Beamer left Georgia to take a horizontal move to Oklahoma, that sort of left. Kirby's never going to come out and say it, and which I respect, but sort of left a bad taste in Kirby's mouth. I think the way that all went down, and I don't think Kirby's ever gotten over that. And I don't know. I think there's behind the scenes. I think there's a lot more not great will. They handshake and laugh it up and say all positive things about each other's programs publicly, but I think behind the scenes there's not a whole lot of love lost between Kirby and Beamer and vice versa.
Yeah, so, well, you can go look at that. I was going to say 2002, 2022 game when it wasn't a fake punt, or they went for it on fourth down. Anyway, they went for it on fourth down. I can't remember if it was
the biggest play they had the year that we went up to Columbia.
Yeah, and it got stopped.
Yeah,
and Kirby goes, first down, motherfucker, first down, and points to the South Carolina bench. So I don't think there is any love lost between Beamer and Kirby. And I have read, shout out Graham Coffee, who said that Kirby is not a big fan of Shane Beamer.
There seems to be a lot of I don't know. I think that analogy that you said that Dean Legge said, I definitely can see a lot of parallels between Beamer, the rah-rah, little old us, so yeah, I can kind of see that. But Beamer has to kind of get with and realize the modern era of football that we're in, man. Coaches are going to move,
Yeah, and especially this late with all these guys leaving for the NFL. I mean, this is what's going to happen. So you got to get used to it. And guess what? We're going to have to get used to Division II head coaches becoming position coaches.
Yeah.
If
you're a Division II school, and you have a coach that's had a modicum of success, don't be surprised if you lose them to being a position coach at a major program. And quite honestly, who can blame them? If they get any good talent, meaning a Division II coach, those players are going to be jumping because of the transfer portal and NIL. You have so much more responsibility. Expectations are so high. Salaries are not that great. I know this is a different topic, but that's what I'm worried about when you start talking about how well coached and played the game of football is at an amateur level is going to get watered down because you're going to lose big time coaches, college coaches to the NFL, right? Head coaches, because they're constantly having to re-recruit, deal with NIL, and there's a 24/7 transfer portal. There's free agency all year round, every month in the calendar. So you're going to lose a lot of good coaches to the NFL. You're going to have Division II coaches, head coaches leaving to take position groups with less responsibility. They're coaching 4 or 5 guys instead of having the whole weight of the program on them because they know they're going to lose players in the transfer portal. We've talked about it a lot, but something's going to have to be done to kind of mitigate all this stuff, or the quality of football and the opportunities for kids who a lot of kids coming out of high school, man, they realize they're never going to play big time football, but they still love the game and they want to do the best they can with the abilities they have. Well, if coaches leave and the program's abandoned, schools abandon the program, those opportunities aren't going to exist. So it's unfortunate. That's all you can say.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I guess what a segue I created. Check out the next video that will be popping up. Check out Dom the Dog for your shipping needs. Go to Unishippers Atlanta. Ask for who are we asking for today?
We'll ask for Brandon Radiker. If I gave him a shout out last time, he needs all the help he can get.
Okay, well, Brandon needs help. All right, we'll see you on the other side.